Hello, I'm Mark Raymond from Open Road Consulting. I'm going to be talking about two particular skills that help a lot with getting work done with other people, which take out some of the frustration, some of the wasted time and effort, and help you work with others in a more smooth way, a more effective and efficient way, which is also good for other people we're working with. Comes up a lot in coaching. These two skills are making effective requests and responding to requests. They've been around for a long time, developed by Chauncey Bell and Fernando Flores in terms of real application to the business world about 30 years ago. What I'm sharing with you today has been enhanced by Faye Lambert, so a shout out to Faye. So have a look at these requests here. See what you think. Example 1. Do you think the lawn is looking a bit long? This office looks like a mess. So could someone please tidy it up? And lastly, can you go down to the repair shop and get a gasket and pick up some PVC while you're there? These requests are all a bit vague. That's what they have in common. And a lot of the time in our work, we might be making requests that are a bit like this, that have the other person we're working with not really clear about what we want. Sometimes when people know us well, and we can make requests that are pretty straight, that are really shorthand, and people get it, particularly within teams. When we're working with newer people and working outside of teams, we need to be a bit more precise and a bit more purposeful. Let's look at the first skill, which is making effective requests. These are the key ingredients. So firstly, who are we making the request to? Are we making it to the right person in the right role with the right capability? What do we want? This is about being really clear about what we want, including standards, expectations. It could be the length of a report. It could be what the report includes and so on. And it could be an example. We could have an example there of something which helps the other person see and understand what our expectations are. Why do we want it is the one that's often missed, particularly when people are busy. And this is the one based on, it really is anecdotal research of mine and just some reports. This is the one where if we can include why we want something, why it's important, it helps the other person see the significance, improves their motivation, and also improves the strike rate of getting good work back. When do you want it? Important to be as precise as possible there as well. And these elements might involve understanding from the people that we're working with or we're requesting of when they can do things by, but we want to have an agreement, a date, and even a time is really important there as well. How do we want it done? Number 5, it's probably a bit more controversial for newer people who might not have the skills yet. We probably need to be more directive about what they need to do and how they need to do it. But for people who are competent, this is a really good way of making really competent people really incompetent really quickly and demotivated. We can feel micromanaged when that happens. So we need to get the balance right. 2 other comments I'd make would be the tone in which we make the request. Sometimes we can feel a bit hesitant in making a request and like we don't want to bother people and we don't want them to see that the work is, we don't want to be too imposing, but we really want to convey a sense of urgency in our tone. And we want to convey the importance of our tone and also in a relaxed and friendly manner. And the other comment I would make too is that some requests we need to get them done by a certain time and there's no scope for negotiation, but oftentimes there is. So it can be important to provide the person we're working with scope to negotiate so they feel a sense of buy-in and empowerment there. Here's an example. Hi, Mary. This is assuming that I've talked to Mary and we've had a chat about the request and I'm following it up in email. So thanks for agreeing to help with the report. As discussed, it's for the board who are concerned about staff retention. So I'm providing the reason, the purpose, so she sees why it's significant. We need to provide a report for I want the number of resignations over the last 12 months. I'm getting into the what, including their reasons for leaving. And I want comments on how we compare to other firms, comments on data. And I'm also letting her know that Bob has both pieces of information. And what I want Mary to know, because I know she's really good at this, so she has some great suggestions for what we can do to improve retention and engagement. So we've talked about this, and this is something that she has and is keen to focus on. So I'm asking her for 3 recommendations about that, including benefits and downsides of each. And the report's due at the end of the month, and I'm saying that I want it. We've agreed that she's going to provide this by the 20th, which will give me a couple of days to review it. I'm going to need that. And then for us to talk about it, I'm going to probably need to talk to my boss as well. So, and I'm also saying if she has any other ideas or problems, because often when we get a piece of work, things arise that we didn't expect. We might have other ideas, or there could be problems completing the work. And it's really important to let the other person know ASAP. So I'm telling her to let me know and not to be worried about coming back to me if there are issues. I want to be approachable for her. So, and I'm also letting you know that I think it's about a day's work. And as I said, when we talk to me if she needs assistance. Really want to support her. I don't think there's anything she will, but who knows? So I want her to know that that's possible. So that's a good example of a request. So that's making an effective request. The other dimension to this is sometimes we don't know. Sometimes another person might have better ideas about how to do things. So that can be important as a precursor to a request, is a conversation to explore the objectives, the concerns, what we're trying to achieve, and have a conversation about what would be a good piece of work to do. We want to have it ending in this request where there's this clarity. The second skill I want to talk about is responding to requests. There are 4 options. First is the yes, I will. And this is actually handy to know because often we respond habitually to requests and we want to say yes, or if we can't do something, we just don't respond. And this is problematic for a couple of reasons. If we keep saying yes, we become overwhelmed, and we don't want to be overwhelmed with work or be doing that to other people. So we want to encourage or have a culture where people can respond in different ways and where we can respond in different ways. So we know we're getting a reliable promise and reliable commitment. First is yes, I will. When we understand the request, understand the concern, why it's important, we can do it. It's yes, it's straight up, and we're letting the other person know. Second option is no, I won't, or no, I can't. This is another controversial one because no one likes to be saying no, but oftentimes it's important to, so we can let the person know who's making the request early. Bad news doesn't get better with age, as someone said to me yesterday. So that's an important one, and people would often want to know quickly, and they want to know it's a no so they can talk to other people. The third option is the commit later, which is, let me check my workload over the next couple of days and I'll let you know. Even better to be more precise with that and to provide a time when we're going to tell someone. But often we need to buy a bit of time and check rather than take something on and where we're not really clear about whether we've got the capacity. The fourth option is the counteroffer. That's really important because sometimes when we get a request, it might not make sense. So someone who might not have our technical skills might not know what's required. So often we can use our technical skills and our expertise by coming back with a better way of doing things. So that can be important too. The other aspect of the counteroffer is where we can't do it by the date, but we can do it, but not by the date. So we can negotiate the terms, date, aspects of the task and so on. And the last response is yeah, no worries. I should be able to get that to you. Perhaps a bit later. I'll let you know. Those sort of vague responses, we call that the slippery promise. That's because, well, it's a bit slippery and the person that we're responding to has really no idea about whether we're going to be able to do or whether we're committed to doing the particular task. So they're the different responses. It's worthwhile just having a think about which ways you habitually respond and seeing if there are other options and giving that a bit of a go. I'd recommend that. And just to sum up, a couple of things here I'd highlight. One would be when when making requests, if we don't get what we want back, the first place to look is here, to look at ourselves, look at the way we made the request, look about whether we were clear, the tone, and so on, and to focus on that. That is often the reason why we don't get back what we wanted. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is in terms of this idea of securing reliable promises, we want to be able to support our people or support people that we're working with to do their best work. So this often means that we can ask some questions about things that might get in the way, what support they need, so we can maximize the chance of it being successful. So that's a wrap on making effective requests and responding to requests. Hope there's something in there that you can give a go. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Thanks a lot.